You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's the Brock and Dalby Show. I'm Dalby. Brock is not here because Brock got a incredible opportunity to go to Ottawa yesterday and watch the Toronto Maple Leafs, his favorite team, the team he's cheered for since he was in diapers, win and move on to round 2 of the playoffs, which does not happen a lot for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it was a very cool moment for him yesterday, but it did give us an opportunity to see two sides of the fan coin, because that's the thing, is when we're fans of sports teams, we become one of two people. Either we try to be really positive and really humble and really like, oh, hey, you know, it was a great game and I'm just happy that everything worked out for my team, but the other team was still really great. And that's kind of what we heard from Brock yesterday, right after that game. Have a listen to this.
I want to apologize for taking the day off work, but I don't know if you can hear this. Yeah, I called it. Leafs in 6, on to the second round. You know what? I got to say something. Ottawa Senators, just about to watch the handshake go down here. It's a fantastic series. I look forward to seeing what you guys got in the future, but to all the Leafs haters out there, I got 2 words for you. Suck it! Go Leafs, go!
See, and that's fine, right? Again, it's a very humble, like, the Senators, you played a great series, you got a bright future, and then at the end a little bit of, with the suck it, but that's sports, right? We give each other the gears as sports fans. When our team beats your team, you get to make a few little jokes. So that came through at about 9:30 last night. And then at about 1:25 or so this morning, another notification on the Bad Line inbox as we got a second voicemail had hit the inbox.
So it's currently 1:25 in the morning. Maybe I'm a little drunk. Maybe I'm eating some chicken fingers right now. Maybe the Leafs won. And all you Senators fans talking all that good. Where are you now? Montreal Canadiens fans, where are you now? Everybody wants to hate on the Leafs. It's not too late to hop on the bandwagon, guys. That's all I'm saying. Lots of room. You want to ride to victory, baby? All aboard. Anyways, go Leafs, go. You don't like the Leafs?
Oh, wait for it.
Well,
wait for it.
Suck it.
There it is again. And that one is a much more aggressive suck it. Because you might think, like the first time, right? It was straight out of D-Generation X, Attitude Era, WWF. Sucked it. But the far more aggressive suck it is the one that happens in this phone call right at the end here when he just says it like this.
Suck it.
That's so much more aggressive. Even though it's more mellow, it's more calm, it's straight up telling you, I don't like your team, I don't like your fans, you go ahead and suck it. And the thing I'm most excited for is, again, we get to see both sides of the sports fan. This side, the more raw, the more honest, the more cocky side of the sports fan. And this is the clip that I cannot wait to play when the Toronto Maple Leafs inevitably crash out and are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. You can say whatever you want about the teams that didn't make it, like my Detroit Red Wings. You can say whatever you want about the teams that got eliminated in the first round, like the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. But the collapse will be so much worse for the people who talk this kind of smack before the series is even all said and done. So at, some point in the next couple weeks, we'll see who really has to
suck it.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I saw a story that I thought was really cool. We've got a brand new Guinness record. We love our Guinness records here on the show. As an 82-year-old woman named Sarah Blackman, born in 1942, set the record for forearm plank by someone over the age of 80. The oldest female to perform an abdominal plank for the longest time is the record that Guinness is calling it, holding the plank for 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which is just absolutely astounding. astounding behavior. Like, round of applause to Sarah. I remember a few years ago here on the show, we learned that a minute and a half was supposed to be the average length of time that an adult male could do a plank. And I barely made it across that minute and a half threshold. I could not fathom holding a plank for an additional 3.5 minutes to hit the same mark that Sarah did, especially at the age of 82. But it was very funny. You know, she talks about how the reason that she works out and does planking is she's got 3 grandchildren. She wants to be able to move and to play with them, and that's admirable. But she also said that one of the things that helps her get to the 5-minute mark is the song Endless Love by Lionel Richie. The full version of the song clocks in at about 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So she can kind of just put herself into this mental state of enjoying the song without really paying attention to her body screaming at her that we've been doing this plank for almost 5 minutes now. She just hears this. And she's like, okay, if I make it to the end of the song, I'm within less than a minute of setting the record. And that's how she gets to 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I was thinking about, like, there are some great songs that if you can just put yourself in them, could probably help you get through some pretty strenuous times. Like, imagine you're doing a workout, you're on the treadmill, you're trying to hit a kilometer, a mile, or whatever it is, and this is playing in the background. Like, this is going to make you want to run faster, or at least continue running. Or if, maybe it's all about survival. You're on the bench press and you're trying to lift those weights and you can feel the arms starting to get jello, but then this comes on in the background. You're just trying to stay alive. You're just trying to keep that bar from crashing down on your chest, on your neck, and breaking you and ending your life. The right song at the right time can bring this sudden surge of power to what you're doing. And it doesn't even have to be like a classic song that you fell in love with. Maybe a little nostalgia from your childhood to fire you up.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
I mean, sure, the rest of the song is about raising fictional monsters to battle one another in some sort of weird cockfighting ring, but that's neither here nor there.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We're talking about this Sarah Blackman lady who set a new Guinness Book of World Records. Let me get the wording right here. It is for the oldest female to perform an abdominal plank for the longest time. At 82 years old, she set a forearm plank record at 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which is very cool. She should be very proud of herself. But I read this story, and the one thing that came to my mind, and maybe it's very telling about who I am and how I live, but I swear to God, if I'm still working out at 82 years old, I've gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. The only reason I will work out after the age of 80 years old is if a doctor tells me that it's the only way I stay alive, and even then, there is a significant chance that I just go, hey, if it's my time, it's my time. I asked the question earlier, what is something that you really hope you're not still doing when you're in your 80s? And Brother Jay, you've got a good answer here. What's something that you really do not want to be doing once you hit 80 years old?
Any manual labor whatsoever. Like, I don't even want to chew. I want somebody to chew for me.
You're going full feeding tube.
100%, man. I don't want this thing.
I want you to mash up that Big Mac and put it in my veins.
Yeah, you're getting the idea, my friend.
Honestly, I mean, it just feels like you've made some wrong decisions if you still have to be out there doing anything significantly laborious. Like, even, I don't want to have to move my own furniture if it comes to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
If I wake up in the morning and I'm 84 years old and I decide the feng shui in my living room is off, I want to be able to call my grandkids and be like, get over here and fix this.
Now.
That's right. I'm not asking. I'm telling. We have gotten to a point in life where I need you to come over and take care of this. Justice is on the line. Justice, You're in your 80s. What's something you're not doing?
Standing in a 1 hour line.
I mean, honestly, once you get into your 80s, every minute feels like it's worth so much more than your previous minutes.
Well, exactly. That's what grandkids are for. Hey, I'm doing it right now for mine, I love her to death, my grandma's earned it, but I've earned mine too when I get there.
We're really going after the grandkids so far. It's like, if you've ever wondered, like, why are people having kids? Apparently, it's so that you have cheap physical labor when you get older. I get that, though. Like, just the idea of going to stand in a line now in my 40s at, like, the DMV or whatever, it sounds terrible. Like, I could just be doing so much more. Even if it's nothing, at least it's my choice to do nothing with that time. But now I got to go stand somewhere when I'm in my 80s. I just don't see that happening. Let's take one more call. Friend of the show, Ashley, what are you thinking?
Dating, absolutely. If for some reason, and love to my boyfriend, but if for some reason I'm single at 80, I think I'll just take that as a sign that I'm meant to go out as a spinster and, I don't know, maybe become like a golden girl or something and enjoy my last few years.
I mean, I've also seen the news stories about how, like, not to try and be gross or anything, but STD rates in old folks' homes are through the roof. So it doesn't sound like the worst time to be single. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll just stand back and watch the entertainment happen. Maybe I'll stir up some pot. Yeah, I'll be that one.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You may have heard that it is, in fact, Skinnerd Week on the station this week, which is why you've been hearing some pretty sick tunes. And this weekend, Howard Manshine will walk you through the history of the band on the Sunday Night Vinyl series, so make sure you tune in for that. But one thing that we've been doing here on the show every week is censoring some of the songs from the band of the week. And normally this is Brock's bit, and I want to make sure he's getting all the credit because I do not want to steal it from him. But I did realize when he took today off because of yesterday's Leafs game, we had not yet censored any Skinnerd on the station. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try a couple, see if I can do what Brock does, see if I can bring the same magic, because of course Skinnerd has some absolutely iconic songs that change dramatically as soon as you put in a little bit of censor tone. Oh dear. He's got things, he's got a thing, and we don't want to talk about what he's talking about. Also, there is this classic song, Simple Man.
Well, take your time. Don't too fast.
Gotta slow down, everybody knows that. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but taking your time is probably the best way to handle that. One of my favorite Skinnerd songs is one that we don't give a ton of attention to, but Gimme Back My Bullets has a lot of words that are key to getting the message across.
Well, I seen the heart, the pressure's been on me. But I keep on like a man do. And I've got my act together, gonna all over you. Give me back my.
I don't know what he's going to do all over you, but I'm going to guess it's not going to be a lot of fun.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I saw a video going around today that is blowing people's minds as somebody with some sort of science and health background was on an airline flight, just, regular old commercial airline, and decided to take some test tubes and swabs with them and swabbed everything from the windows to the tray tables, the safety pamphlets that they have in the seats and all that stuff. And if you can believe it, when they ran the cultures, they found a ton of bacteria. Turns out that airplanes have a lot of germs. Those big flying metal tubes that they pack a few hundred people into at any given time that are very briefly cleaned in between flights and certainly not being fully sterilized in the middle of the day. I mean, yes, to see these cultures grow and to see just how many germs this person found on things like the armrest and the thing you put your food on when you're on a flight, it is startlingly disgusting. But is this something that people didn't know? Is this one of those things, like, were people getting onto airplanes assuming that everything had been like fully sterilized, UV sprayed, everything was good to go? There was no chance of, these are the germiest germ factories outside of elementary schools. This is like walking into a hotel room with a black light and being horrified at the Jackson Pollock painting that you find in the bed in the bathroom. Some places in society are just naturally disgusting. Those are the unfun facts that we have to deal with on a daily basis. When you go on an airplane, it's not the worst idea to keep your friggin' hands to yourself, because everything is covered in bleh.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I want to talk about unfun facts today, like the fact that every airplane is absolutely rife with germs and bacteria, as is the case with almost anything that comes into constant contact with human beings, because generally we're pretty gross. Fun facts tell you things that you're like, oh, that's neat. I'm going to hold on to that piece of information for a good long time. Unfun facts live in your brain like a worm, gnawing at you and reminding you that the world can be pretty gross. Chad's on the line. Chad, what is an unfun fact that you know?
The parasites that live in your eyebrows.
Sorry, the what?
Parasites.
Why are there parasites in my eyebrows?
What was that show, The Things That Are Inside Me or whatever?
Ugh.
Yeah, so they come out when you're sleeping or whatever, and they clean your eyebrows or something. But every time my eyebrow itches, I just think of those little parasites crawling up my hair follicles, and it's so gross.
Every time you get an itch, you're like, oh my God, I have an insomniac parasite in my eyebrows that woke up too early.
Yes, that's correct.
That's horrifying.
It's awful. I've seen it like 5 years ago, and it stuck with me, and I hate it.
Cool. I'm going to be scratching my face for the rest of the day. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, bud. Anytime.
My eyebrow is so itchy right now. Some other unfun facts that got sent to us so far. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a patch of garbage floating in the Pacific Ocean, is now 3 times the size of France. Wow, thanks, Al. I really feel better about knowing that now. The world is a great place. This one is from Cindy. It says, your tongue print is just as unique as your fingerprint. We just don't use it for identification because then you'd have to lick things. And yep, that seems like a good move. Feels like we can stick with dental records and fingerprints, and I could have gone the rest of my life without knowing that my tongue had unique ridges and grooves to it. This one here says that some cemeteries lease graves. After a few decades, they just clear it out and rent the land to somebody else. That's awful. I guess it does make sense. At some point, there's not much of you left to fill the hole in the ground, but I would hate to be the person that's looking at the calendar and being like, oh, gotta go empty out plot 65 today. Katie's on the line. Katie, I think I've only got enough bandwidth for one more unfun fact. What do you got for me?
An unfun fact that I know is that you can fit up to 2 full raccoons in your...
You know, I've heard that unfun fact before. The thing about it is nobody ever says why.
I don't know.
Also, who is the person that went for 3 and realized, nope, 2's the limit?
I know. Pretty weird, huh?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's another one of those I was today years old when I learned life hack type videos that's supposed to blow your mind with a piece of information that seems so basic on its surface, but you realize, like, how did I never think about this before? And in this video, which is just a bunch of TikTok music, there's nothing to really hear, but in this video, it is a woman showing off that she has discovered that you can pack a suitcase while it is standing up, while it is upright. You know those rolly suitcases with the wheels on the bottom? Normally, you would lay it out on the bed or the couch or the floor or what have you, and you would start laying your clothing and all the other essentials that you need for your trip, and you would close the lid, zip it up, and then turn it up onto its wheels to transport. But in this woman's massive, groundbreaking discovery, if you just put it on the wheels to start with, you can layer things from the bottom to the top, and it just changes everything, except that it changes nothing. It doesn't make the suitcase bigger. It doesn't mean you can fit more things. It means you have to fold things much smaller, which means that they would stack much higher. It means that you're working with significantly less space in terms of like the base layer. It means that things can fall out at any moment, and then like a Jenga tower, you have to rebuild the whole thing. And rightfully, this woman is being mocked on the internet, although there are some people that are sharing in her discovery of going like, oh my God, this changes everything about going on vacations. I'm so doing this the next time I have to pack a bag. And it goes to show that we really are simple creatures as human beings. We don't necessarily have to be shown something that's interesting or smart or clever or creative to call it a life hack. We just have to be shown you do this thing one way. You could, I guess, do it another way. And then we're all like the monkeys that discovered the obelisk in that one movie. And we're all just in shock at the discovery. If I leave you with one thing today, as you go into your weekend, where you will almost certainly spend a significant amount of time scrolling and swiping and watching videos and reading articles because weekends are for internet, just remember that not everything is a life hack.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but...
It's time for Wrong Answers Only, the game where we ask you to tell us something that is just factually incorrect, but also is hilarious. So, we're going to go to our contestants on the line. We've already spun the wheel, and today's topic, what's the secret to living past 100 years old? They'll give us their best wrong answer. You in the jury can vote 762-555 with who you think had the best answer, and whoever wins will get $100 from our friends at OLG for Lotto Max tickets, which they can use including the big jackpot draw coming later on tonight. So let's go to line number one. Brock and Dalby Show. Who's this? Hello.
Hi, it's Bruce.
Hi, Bruce. Welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm not bad. How are you doing?
I'm good, Bruce. This is the only time on this show that you're hoping to hear this.
Ooh.
It is visceral, the feeling, I know, but we want a wrong answer for you. Bruce, what would you say is the secret to living past 100 years old?
Well, I actually know this answer. It's a fact.
Okay.
It's the filters in cigarettes that are bad for you. So only unfiltered cigarettes, and then only when you've been drinking.
So what you're saying is if you want to live to 100 or beyond, you have to get drunk and then smoke unfiltered cigarettes.
That's the secret.
All right, Bruce, we're going to put you on hold. That is, in fact, a wrong answer, just in case there are any children who are listening to the program today. Hot start, line number two. Brock and Dalby Show. Who's this?
Matt.
Hey, Matt. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Matt, what is the secret to living to 100 years old?
Secret's very simple. The secret is ensuring you eat McDonald's supersized version only every meal, every day. But there's a very important part that follows after that, and it's for dessert. You must eat a whole bag of Skittles and Sweet Tarts every single meal, every single day, so you satisfy both your salty part of your tooth and the sweet part of your tooth.
Right, so it's the combination of the supersized, specifically fries and burger and drink from McDonald's, and then you wash it down with a bag of Skittles and Sweet Tarts.
And when you go to bed, you try to make sure that you do not sleep at all if possible. You got to live every minute of every single day.
All right. I'm going to put you on hold, but those were definitely wrong answers. One more time. There's the buzzer. All right, we got one more contestant. Brock and Dalby Show. Who's this?
It's Ryan.
Ryan, how are you, man?
Oh, not bad. It's a Friday. It's the end of a work week.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Listen, what is the secret to living to the age of 100?
Well, I'm going to say cheer for the Leafs because they haven't won a cup in forever, and I'm a Leafs fan, and drink away and smoke dope.
All right, man. You might have to live beyond 100 if you want to see the Leafs win a Stanley Cup. That's Ryan's answer. Matt said it's supersized food from McDonald's, washed down with delicious sweets from the confectionery. And then Bruce said the key to living to 100 is unfiltered cigarettes. All right. 762-555. You can text in. We're definitely seeing text for all three of our contestants. Each and every one of them brought it, but the majority of the texts are falling on line number one. Bruce, congratulations. You and unfiltered cigarettes are the winners today.
Thanks.
Bruce already well on his way to living to 100 years old. Congratulations, my man. You got $100 in tickets for Lotto Max. If you were to say take those $100 in tickets, go and win yourself a $70 million jackpot today. Would you have any nickels and dimes for the boys?
As long as you spend them on materials that are going to help you live to 100.
That's right. Well, $70 million in unfiltered cigarettes. I'm coming out of retirement, everybody. Here we go.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Hey, Christine, it's Dalby from the Brock and Dalby Show. How are you this morning?
Hi, Dolly. How you doing? I'm doing great.
I'm also doing great. Thank you for asking. Listen, I just wanted to call and say thank you because I understand that you have been doing a pretty good job of going on the Seeker app and checking out our daily audio clips.
I do. I like listening to your clips in the morning.
Oh, well, thank you. And listen, as another way to say thank you, because words are nice, but $250 cash is also pretty cool.
Oh, don't tell me I won.
You won the Brock and Dalby Easter egg hunt.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic. I just enjoy listening to the show.
Well, now you've got even more reasons to be happy because, Christine, you went and found the clips, found the Easter eggs, put them in on the Seeker app, and now you've won $250 cash.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much, you guys.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Thank you for playing along at home. We appreciate you, Christine. We appreciate everybody that's been checking out those audio highlights over on the Seeker app. And listen, I don't want to be that guy, the corporate shill, but there's lots more stuff that you can win on the Seeker app, which you can download right now for free, just like Christine did to win $250 cash.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's freaking Friday.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Friday. Oh, hell yeah! The weekend is upon us. Understandably, after 8 hours of work. But once you get through that, the weekend will truly be upon us. And we want to know what's making you feel the... you know what? For me, it's just as simple as I did not make any glaring mistakes on the show today that would cost the company hundreds and thousands of dollars. All right. I made it through a show all by myself. And I'm very proud of myself for that. Going on to the text line here, we've got Barb who says, sitting on the front porch with a coffee and some Devil's Loudest, go Leafs. Listen, let's just get it out of the way for all of you Leaf fans. Yes, you won. Congratulations. You get to see what round 2 feels like. And that covers all of you. All right, that's all of you. Here, this one from Sam says, I just effing love July talk. Absolutely. Sometimes you just hear the right band or the right song that completely turns your day, your morning, your week, whatever it is around. This text here says, just finished running my second marathon in 3 hours and 3 minutes. My running streak is up to 1,000. You're good, man. You can stop anytime. You have done it. You are good. This one says, ooh, yeah, Dylan and Caitlin are having their first baby later this month. It'll be a new Brock and Dalby fan. That's right. It's just like with the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you indoctrinate them young enough, then they won't know any better when they get older and things aren't as good as they wish that they could be. This one here says, could you please upload the Friday countdown audio clip that you play at the beginning of Ooh Yeah Fridays? Also, I'm pumped up starting my engines for Ooh Yeah Fridays. Yeah, it'll be in the podcast, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, today will be episode 290 of the Brock and Dalby Podcast. Today, I start the rest of my career as a paramedic. I've been working hard for a whole 2 years, and what better way to celebrate a Friday than this? Absolutely. This one says, our new 21-day-old baby boy, Kenny Joe, got his first tractor last night. Again, start him young and put him to work. This one's from Natalie. She says, I'm just happy I finally got to watch Metallica live and loud last weekend. Best time ever. This one here is just for all of the people who are having birthdays. Anybody who's celebrating an anniversary. One more time for Leafs fans, because you won't leave me alone. And Matt's going to have our last one today that says, wrapping up a big job today by collecting the check. Which, as we all know, is the best part of any type of work. One more for everybody who I missed. And one more for anybody who didn't text in but realizes now that an ooh yeah might make Friday go a little smoother.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Word of the day.
All right, it is Ed's word of the day. Let's see what he's got for us today.
Good morning. Today's word is sardonic. Yep, sardonic. 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 And it's disdainfully or skeptically humorous. Well, I mean, if you're skeptical whether or not it's humorous, it's probably not. Hey, that's kind of an easy decision on whether you laugh or walk away. Anyways, that just about does it. Happy Friday. Have an awesome one. Cheers.
Thanks, Ed. Sardonic. Again, yeah, it means like sarcastically funny. It doesn't necessarily mean you're skeptical about whether something is funny, but you're being funny by being skeptical. And this is sort of a sense of humor that you see a lot if you've got somebody on the crew, wherever you work, office, job site, or anywhere in between, who's been there too long, and they're jaded to the point where their entire sense of humor is basically just, I can't believe this, I give up, I hate everything. That's someone who's been born, or at least built, into having a very sardonic sense of humor.
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby Podcast.